but when I look at them, I want to put them in my mouth. We're back. Hi, it's Lulu. We're back on the floor today. My vertigo is still being a butt, so that's okay. I came prepared with a cozy blanket this time, just because I love blankets. This video is for the finishing of the corset, and I did not purposefully plan to do a two-part segment for this one. I ran out of time on the last one. This one was definitely, I bit off more than I could chew with this corset, which it's good to be humbled. I was definitely on a running streak of feeling too good about myself, and this one definitely broke me down. No matter what, I'm always cold, and I know it's because of my nerves. For the painting of the corset, I wanted to create my own stamps, so I went ahead and I made a little template. That way I could copy it onto the foam that I have that I want the stamps to be made out of. I probably only spent like an hour and a half on making these stamps. The stamps specifically, the little stencils for the stamps, only took me a few minutes just because it's just a little fun doodle. And I used my heat knife to shape it, and as well as scissors to try and snip it a bit. I was a bit bummed that the stamps didn't work. I shaped them and tried to make them perfect, but when it came to imprinting the picture onto the fabric, it lost all shape. You couldn't tell what it was. I used a test paint because I didn't want to waste the gold, and so I just used like a green paint, and I tried to see if I could salvage it by using a fabric pen to do little outlines and details on it, but it was unsalvageable. And at this point, I had already been on a low level with this corset just because of the defeat that I had from not being able to finish it in the last video. So I was like, okay, I guess that I'm painting this thing and I need to get started now. So I didn't give it a second thought. I was like, this is something that needs to happen right now, that way I can get it done in time. And I just barely got it done in time. Okay, this is the accurate size for my body. Although it looks better on the mannequin than it did on my body. I feel like it did a lot more scrunching up on my body than it did the mannequin. But I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. I was thinking I could just add more boning, but you can see that it's even scrunching up where the boning is. So I'm very confused as to how I should fix this. So I don't think putting boning right there is gonna fix that, you know? It might. Let's pin some in. Think that there fits. I added 8 extra lines of boning. That way it was more supported, and I hand stitched those in again. I had to seam rip the bottom seam, that way I could slide the boning in. And I had a better stitch this time with stitching the boning in through the inside. It is a bit more historically accurate, not that this is a historical piece, but historically when people were stitching their boning into their corsets, they would have little stitches like this to make them more sturdy. If it was an external stitch, they would have it be cute and like colorful. But as this was just an internal stitch, I just used plain white. I'm glad that I took the extra time to add additional boning, because I do think that it made a huge difference with the corset. There's a lot less wrinkling going on. Wrinkling or rippling, those are the words that I want to use for it, but I'm not entirely sure. I am so dizzy. I'm never gonna finish this video. Yes, I will. I'll work my butt off. I'd have to have a butt first to be able to work it up. Before I started painting the corset though, I just took about like a 3-inch thick piece of fabric. Well, it was just scraps. I cut it into like 3 inches thick. That way I can line it all along the bottom of the corset. And I did both the cotton muslin and the silk. Oh, I should have learned what the name of this fabric was. Ooh. Ow, my back. Ah, my back. Oh, my back.
Charmeuse.
Charmeuse. Oh, so I used the cotton and the charmeuse to have it be the trim of the corset. And I just did an internal seam along the bottom of the corset, and then I made sure that it covered the stitches of the previous stitches that were already on the corset. And then I just folded it over and I hand stitched it in. That way the stitches would be hidden. And wouldn't have to go through the corset just to be stitched on, because I want it to be as beautiful as possible with the most gorgeous seams, and I think that I definitely accomplished the most gorgeous seams. I'm very proud of how the seams turned out with this, as I have stated in the last video, but I am also very proud of how my hidden stitch did here. And once I had that on, I ironed it to make sure that it was all in place properly and folding properly. That way it was just pretty. Did you know that someone in the 1800s, I think, died because they kept on putting their needle in their mouth? They were stitching up a rip in their dress from a dog that had rabies, and they were getting the rabies on their needle and they kept putting it in their mouth. I think about that every time I put a needle in my mouth. It's a bit scary. This has never come in contact with something with rabies, but it's still scary. Ow! Oh, owie. That one was mean. This needle hates me. It's not me. It's not me being clumsy or having shaky hands. It's the needle's fault, obviously. I went ahead and I started with the painting process. I used a fabric paint and it didn't have the exact color that I wanted. This was a metallic paint. It has a shimmery effect to it, which is what I was looking for. I ended up mixing 4 different colors to get this color. And I really do like how it turned out. I think it's really pretty. I just did little doodles. I had no real plan exactly for how I wanted the painting to turn out, because I couldn't find a close enough photo of what it really looked like on her corset. So I just loosey-gooseyed it and did whatever I felt was pretty and whatever I wanted. I did stick with like 4 or 5 different prompts. Like there's a few hearts, there's lots of dots and leaves and flowers.
Now, let's mess up her paint.
No, don't mess up my paint. So silly.
But if we put this laser, will it ruin your painting?
No, it won't. You can put the laser on the painting.
Oh yeah, but we can just not touch it. Help me!
I can help you.
We cannot touch it, right?
You're welcome.
But we cannot touch it.
Yeah. The painting of it took really long in the first place. And then, entirely my fault, a big blob of paint got in on the corset and it crushed me. I feel dumb, getting emotional over it, because it's just a project. It's just a corset. It's just paint. This is plan B. Seeing if the fabric covers up the paint. I took like an hour-long break because of how distraught I was. But after a good cry and a good hug from my sister, I decided to just put a new panel on top of the paint because it can't wash out. It's fabric paint. It's meant to stick on the fabric and not wash out of the fabric. So I waited until the fabric dried and I wiped off any excess that wasn't drying fast because time was of the essence and I had no time to waste to watch paint dry. And I think if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know that it was there. So I think it turned out really good, and it was an easy fix to the problem, which was very surprising because it felt like such a world-crushing problem. As I was painting this last section, Marmalade jumped up on the table and into the paint, and it got all over her and it splashed in many places. They did stick to Marmalade. I tried washing it out and it wouldn't come off of her. With a broken heart, I held on to her and cut her fur, that way she wouldn't ingest the paint. It took so long, and it was just another thing that made this project difficult as well. This corset is truly one of my favorite things that I've made. And with the whole outfit, it's gorgeous. And I think I'm gonna wear it all the time because I love it so much. And the kids love it. They thought it was so beautiful. The skirt turned out amazing and the train turned out good. I at first didn't like the train, but after letting it sit for 2 weeks, I like it. Which is pretty common, I find, with sewing projects, is by the end of sewing it, you hate it, but then you take a break from it and you're like, wait, I actually really like this. And that's the case with this. All of the colors together look beautiful and they're all just slightly different, but they still come together and they shine. And I'm very glad that I chose this outfit to make. It is the first wedding dress I've made, and it is not the last wedding dress that I'll make, because I want to make this a series. I'm very glad that these sewing projects give me a sense of normality. And even though it's not a 9-to-5 and I'm not making any money off of it, and I do it whenever I feel good enough, I still enjoy it, and it does make me feel a little bit more normal. And there's nothing wrong with being out of the ordinary. It's just nice to have something with normality. I bought these beautiful buttons. That way they're not just the basic wooden ones that I have. And I didn't feel like doing it right now, but it is going to happen. Just so you know, these buttons are beautiful. They like are scratching the crow brain inside of me. And surprisingly, when I look at them, and I don't know if this is just because I was a weird kid growing up, but when I look at them, I want to put them in my mouth. I have not put them in my mouth, and I will never put them in my mouth, but when I look at them, I do want to put them in my mouth, which is definitely weird, and, you know, sometimes people are weird. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I'm sorry it was in 2 parts, and I'm sorry I left you hanging for so long. I am doing my best, and, you know, sometimes you're just going to have to be patient with me, but I really do appreciate the patience, and I'm very glad that I have the opportunity to come back every week and make more videos and more content and more projects, and I am looking forward to next week. And thankfully I'm getting my Botox next week, so I should be able to have a bit more normalcy with my health, so should be good. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you like it. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah. You're trying to win my affection over. Being a naughty girl. No. 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 Thank you. I was expecting a tail whip.
Twist to the other side.